ईश्वरः गुरु साक्षात् परब्रह्म तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः. The detailed information about the 7 factors which constitutes the scheme of life are extremely essential to be known so that this information can be converted into experience. And for that, the teacher started telling first what is that Brahman that we talk about. That we should know the Brahman. Brahman means what? So we were told Aksharam Brahma Paramam. Yesterday we have explained exhaustive. Now the second aspect was Swabhava Dhyatma Uchate. Swabhava is called as Adhyatma. Because Arjuna's question was Kim Adhyatmam? What is the meaning of Adhyatma? So Adhyatma is Swabhava. Now see, this is very simple and yet extremely difficult to understand. There are 2 things. One is called as Swarupa and second is called as Swabhava. Swarupa means essence and Swabhava means nature. For example, our essence is the infinite reality. That is what we essentially are. But the Swabhava is that we are so much habituated to get identified with the body that we cannot live other than this identification. So this has become our Swabhava, as we say. Like, suppose somebody becomes angry. So people say, oh, that is his nature to become angry, don't worry. One child told me a very good terminology. Her father was always becoming angry and sometimes giving left and right to the children. So when this happened in my presence, so I was trying to console the child. And the child was so intelligent. Swamiji, don't have to console me. No, but he is scolding you. It's okay. We give 100% discount to him. That means his scolding has no meaning. And then she said that if daddy does not become angry every day, then something is wrong with him. So it is necessary that he should become angry. In other place I have seen this. That old man was scolded by the grandchild. Dadaji, you just don't understand anything. Unnecessarily you poke your nose in everything. What do you understand about computers? What do you understand about the television? Every time coming and spoiling our programs, get away. So the grandfather got very much hurt. Okay, I am mad, I am not required, I'll keep quiet. And out of anger, he kept quiet. Anything happens, he will not talk. But inside boiling. And as a result, slowly, all the problems started cropping up. Doctors are called and he is not getting cured and he is hospitalized, he is not getting cured. And his wife, another old lady, she said, you are unnecessarily wasting money. You hand over that patient to me. I'll make him all right. So she said, what will you do? You don't worry about it. So that old man was brought at home. And she started doing all that which makes him angry. And once, twice, thrice, 4 times, and then he burst out of anger. And when he burst out of anger, relieved, all problems gone. So, one is the essence the Swarupa. Second is the nature, the Swabhava. So our essence is Brahman, the reality. But our Swabhava is what is mentioned here as Adhyatma. Now what is our nature? Our nature is, this is according to Patanjali Yoga Darshan I am talking to you. There in his commentary Bhagavan Vedavyasa writes that the soul or the jiva has been going through many lives. And in these many lives, there are certain things which were done so many times that now it has become by default. He doesn't have to try. He doesn't have to put effort. For example, I was in UK and went to see some farms. The horse farm, the cattle farm, the pig farm on a just tour. And when I went to that pig farm, so that person who was conducting, he said, "Hey, you are lucky, come and see how the babies are delivered." So 13 or 14 were delivered. So once the baby is delivered, she'll do like this thing, remove all the placental coverings and become like this, and straight away go to the nipples to suck the milk. Now who told? Who taught? See, our human children when they are born, anything that you give, it goes in the mouth. So this has become our swabhava by nature. Now how this nature develops? One is regarding eating. Nobody is required to be taught that you have to eat. They eat. You must have seen small kids, when they start eating childhood, their aim doesn't go properly. It goes here and there and all that, but they know they have to put somewhere here. Second thing is the identification with the body. The identification of the soul or the jiva with the body is a common phenomena in total creation. See, if you remember, I told you one story about a king who was told by his guru that you will be born in the next life as a pig and you will retain the memory if somebody reminds you. Then you can discard that body and again come back as a human form and enjoy the kingdom. So he told this thing to his minister, and after he died, the minister was on a search for seeing that particular kind of pig. In 1 year's time, he could see that pig. And then the pig was caught, given a royal bath. And then that minister spoke in the ear of the pig. "Sir, you are the royal king, owner of this kingdom." Then the pig started talking. "Yes, I remember." So he said, "You discard this body, I can help you discarding this body. And again, come out of the body and take the human form and get born in the royal family. It will be done. Your guru has blessed you." That time that pig king says, "Had I known the joy in being in the pig's body, I would never have agreed to my guru what he told me." See, no responsibility and enjoyment alone. In short, the identification of the jiva with the body has become our swabhava. See? So first, regarding the identification with the body. Second thing is the eating. And third thing is the fear of death. These three things are common to every living being. Now why this happens? Because of the basic mistake that we get identified with the body and thereafter all the problems begin. So when we talk about Adhyatma Shastra, the spiritual lifestyle, what it means? It means our essential nature, our Swarupa cannot be changed. But our Swabhava, our nature has to be changed. So spiritual practice is the ability and the readiness to change our Swabhava. If that we are not able to do, we are only fooling ourselves that we are walking the spiritual path. See? And that is why the first step to be clearly understood on the spiritual path is, let us stop living as body. Second step, let us function through the body. When we start functioning through the body, we are the individual soul. So I, the individual soul, the jiva, function through this body. You, the individual soul, function through your body. Second stage. The third stage is, what is the essential nature of this jiva? And when we discover the essential nature of the jiva, then we come to know, Aham Brahmasmi, I am that infinite reality which is not only functioning through this body, which is not only functioning through these eyes as the vision, through this mouth as the speech, through this ear as the hearing ability, but it is the same reality which is functioning through all the bodies, all the eyes, all the ears. And this is the meaning of that Purusa Sukta. Sahasra Shirsha Purushaha Sahasraksha Sahasrapad. See how important it is. So, what is the meaning of Adhyatma? Adhyatma means this. Our nature has become such that we are getting identified with the body by default. So, we have to correct our program. Nobody can do it for us. Hence, when we start living a life of dharma, be very attentive. I am trying to explain how we can change our swabhava. When we start leading the life of dharma according to the scriptural injunctions, we impose self-accepted restrictions on our behavior. We no more lead a life of animalistic existence. So, if I am a Brahmin, if I am a Kshatriya, if I am a Vaishya, if I am a Shudra, if I am a Brahmachari, Grahastha, Vanaprastha, Sannyasi, if I am a person as a father or as a son or a daughter or a mother, so taking all these factors into account, I determined my redefined individuality. And in that redefined individuality, I start leading a life of proper disciplined behavior. When this starts happening, then there is no time for any one of us to get in the wrong lane. And when this happens, mind becomes purer and single pointed. Now then such a mind is subsequently employed for finding out who is this I, who is functioning through the body but not as the body. Then the inquiry begins. How come in the deep sleep I am not identified with the body? That time I am neither a man or woman, young or old, and yet I continue to exist. That means my existence does not require identification with the body. Then who am I? See, this is the third stage. And when the third stage is inaugurated in the life of a seeker, then he takes a deep leap into Aksharam Brahma Paramam. Then he comes to know that I am not an individual suffering the limitations of time, space and objectivity, but I am that reality which is supporting all the experiences of all the worlds put together. See, this is explained by two masters. One, Santa Gyaneshwar, and very old, 700 years before, and recent years, Ramakrishna Paramahamsa. Santa Gyaneshwar says, when we come to discover our essential nature, if we want to understand the happiness, the bliss that we have, it will be something like this. If all the sense organs of all the creations are coming in contact with all the sense objects of the world, what will be the joy? See the imagination. With one tongue and with one rasagulla, how happy we become. Now, all the sense organs, all the objects of the world, and when all of them are coming together simultaneously, what will be the bliss? See, this is only 1 by millionth of the bliss of being. The second example given by Ramakrishna Paramahamsa in his gospel is, he says, when a seeker has purified and discarded the duality and he is getting established in the non-dual real self, there he gives example. He quotes somebody, he says, as if every pore and the hair on our body is a union between a man and woman. Can you imagine? So that much will be the orgasm of the bliss of being. See? And this can be possible only under one condition. First, we understand what we are. Swabhavaha adhyatmam uchyate. And once we know this, then immediately two things are separated. The instrument or the conditioning, and that which is expressing through the instruments or the conditioning, and the third factor which is born as a result of this unholy wedlock is the conditioned expression of the infinite. So conditioned expression of the infinite is called as the Adhyatma. Now see, at this moment, this is just an example. You are listening to me. That is what I said. This is just an example. I don't know whether you are listening or not. So, now your total personality is now expressing only as a listener. But that is not your total personality. When you go from here and start fighting with others, then that is the second aspect of the personality. And after fighting in the public here, you go home before the wife and immediately become your obedient servant. The third personality. So, through the different conditionings, this infinite is expressing as different roles. In the same manner, that Aksharam Brahma Paramam, that supreme reality, expressing through the Panchakoshas as the Jiva Kosha. That is what is called as the Adhyatma. And this was the thing Bhagavan said, you have to know very clearly what is the absolute and what is the relative. Space is absolute and the east, north, west, south that is relative. Because which is the east? Where the sun rises. Where the sun rises? In the east. So the east is because of the sun, or the sun is rising to the east. And in relation to the east, the position of the remaining 3 quarters are decided. So the north, east, west, south, this is the relative expression in the absolute space. So space by itself doesn't have east, north, west, south. Because the space exists even up and down, not only in the flat way. So, be very attentive. The space is absolute, and in this absolute space, the relative directions are imagined. They are not real. Think. Otherwise, we'll have to say, in the Western world, there is no sunrise. And in the Eastern world, there is no sunset. It doesn't happen. Therefore, the principle is, in the absolute, the relative is imagined, but the summation of the total imaginations is not the absolute. Absolute is far more than the possible imaginations. See? Take an example to understand. I, absolute man, with reference to the wife, I have become husband. So who is this husband? Husband is a relative phenomena. I was not born as a husband. After the conditioning of wife was imposed, a husband is created temporarily. Then, with reference to my son, I have become father. Another conditioning, another relativity. And when the wife and the son, both of them die by God's grace, I, the absolute, continue to be the same without getting influence by any of the conditionings. In the same manner, Aksharam Brahma Paramam, the supreme reality that we are, is never corrupted, never influenced by any of the conditionings. And for that purpose, it is necessary to know that whatever we think ourselves to be, man, woman, young, old, this is only the conditioned expression. But essentially, we are that infinite reality. And once we discover our identity with that infinite reality, thereafter, there is nothing in this world that can ever touch us. Such a great master lives in total freedom. Yogaratova bhogaratova, sangaratova sangavihinaha, yasya brahmani ramate chittam, nandati nandati anandati eva. Then for him, all the limitations of the conditioned expressions have become totally null and void. It is something like this. The other day, I was going my car somewhere, and the person who was driving me, he jumped the light, red light. And then Murphy comes to hell. When you don't expect something to happen, it will happen. So the police comes out. Stop. So you stop the car. And then, show your license. I said, I don't have license. He said, I am not asking you. Give 200 rupees fine. I said, no, it is too much. He said, Maharaj, I am not talking to you. I am talking to the driver. I said, but he is driving for me. He said, that doesn't make any difference. Traffic rules are applicable on the driver and not on the passenger. He gave me the highest wisdom of life. dharma, adharma, papa, punya, hell, heaven is applicable only to the conditioned existence called as the jiva. When you are not driving the car, you are not penalized at all. And when you are driving the car properly, you are not appreciated. You will not be appreciated. Oh, you have been driving the car very well. Police comes and stops you. Sir, you are really a good driver. Never. On the contrary, they don't like such drivers. Isn't it? They like such people who can give them something. If this is clear, then you will see now these two things. Essentially, we are Parabrahma Paramatma. Live as Aksharam Brahma Paramam, you are totally liberated. Live as a Jiva, individual soul, and you have a choice. Suffer, suffer and suffer. Like the marriage is a 3-ring circus, they call it. First is a wedding ring. Second is first is the engagement ring. Because I don't know, I have not done it. What is the sequence? First is the engagement ring. Second is the wedding ring. And the third is the suffering. So, we have a choice. Whether we continue to live as an individual soul and continue to suffer, this is one choice. Second choice is, you want to get out of it. And the moment you want to get out of it, then you come to know that it is my obsession and identification with the conditionings which is making me miserable. See? This is very, very simple to practice in life. We don't have to get involved with everything in this world. Please understand, this is a very important spiritual practice. We must know our area of operation. I can't imagine when I see the hungry people, I feel so bad. So what do? I go to the hotel and eat pizza. What is the use of that? So neither you are enjoying the pizza, nor you are able to do anything for the people. Therefore, never get involved in the world beyond your own capacity. The God who has created this world, He could not satisfy everybody till date. Do you think you and me can satisfy everybody? It is never possible. Then what is to be done? We have seen in the 6th chapter, Uddhared Atmanatmanam Natmanam Avasadayet. We are in this world to grow spiritually and get out of the relativity and come to discover the absolute. Now what is the technique? The simple technique is understanding that in the absolute, relative is imagined. And in that imagination, the absolute never gets corrupted. See? Very simple. Suppose by mistake to the east you call the west. So when you call the east as a west, the east does not get insulted because it's only words. The space is the same. In the same manner, whether there are sufferings or joys, whether the body is undergoing various modification, whether the mind is disturbed, all these things are only in the field of the conditionings, and that which is expressing through the conditioning, the immaculate absolute reality remains untouched. If this is recognized as our essential nature, all the problems of our life start getting dissolved. Otherwise, a principle I'll tell you. In the relative world, there is no problem which can be solved perfectly. In the absolute world, there is no problem which is required to be solved. See? When, in Bhagavad Mahapuran, Bhagwan Dattatreya had 12 gurus. 12 or 24? 2 dozen. 24. Guru Purnama is coming. Hold on to your own guru. Don't look at other gurus. My guru, only one. Think. Let us not limit the Guru Tattva to the individualities. That Paramatma is abundantly available in and through every being as our Guru, if we are ready to learn. The Guru comes in our life in any form, in any way, through any event, even a statement on a passing truck. See? So, the whole thing is as simple as this. Bhagwan Dattatreya learned from this lady, young girl, when she was pounding the rice, there was no sound of the bangles. The pounding sound was coming. So he asked, Amma, you are pounding. How come your bangles were not making the sound? Because you are not a professional girl. The profession oriented, they don't have the bangles and all that. So how come you didn't have that sound? She said, Sir, when I started, it was making a lot of noise. So I removed, kept only two in each hand. Again I started, again it was making a noise. So I removed that. And when there is one, there is no problem. See? Bhagwan Dattatreya could learn from this small statement that ability to learn is called as the grace of Guru in our life. Or else, we are caught hold physically by the Guru, taken a danda in the hand and beaten. You are Brahman, you are Brahman. Try, I cannot be. Such a Guru will be total failure. In a Zen story I read about the meaning of this understanding of that the Jiva Bhava is an illusion, Paramatma is the reality. Guru Maharaj got up in the morning and started crying. The disciple came. What happened? See, last night I had such a terrible dream. He explained the dream and tells, can you interpret this dream for me? When the Guru asked this thing to the disciple says, the water is kept there, wash your mouth and face, and goes away. Then the Guru Maharaj calls another disciple. Look here, I called that fellow and I told him his dream and asked him to interpret the dream, what is the meaning of this dream. And instead of interpreting the dream, he gave me water to wash my face. What kind of disciple? Second disciple says, he is kept there, it is getting cold, and he also goes away. And then the Guru Maharaj calls both of them. And he says, had any one of you interpreted my dream, I would have killed you. See how important it is. Let us not get lost in interpreting, understanding, improving, changing this relative world. There is no solution. The other day somebody was asking me, Swamiji, just imagine that if this Ram Janmabhoomi problem is solved, Pakistan problem is solved, Krishna, Kaveri, Tamil Nadu, Karnataka problem is solved, then the Congress, BJP, NDA problem is solved, how beautiful our country will be. I said, no, then what people will do? See, if you remove the problem of this Rama Janmabhoomi, these two big organizations will collapse. They will have a heart attack. What will VHP do and what these Muslim people will do? On that only they are surviving. That is their lifeline. All of us are living only on problems. The moment we discover that this relative world is imagined in the absolute reality. Now what will be our attitude toward the imagination? It is imagination, enjoy and forget. Don't enjoy and remember. When we enjoy and remember, we make it real. When we enjoy and forget, we were only in the present. The joy is possible only in the present, never in the past, never in the future. So, this is the second aspect to be known if we really want to know exhaustively everything about the world and everything. And unless we know this, we will not have freedom from the old age and the fear for death that will keep us haunting in life. Now the third question asked was, Kim karma Purushottama? Hey Purushottama, what is the meaning of karma? Now here the definition given by the teacher is so unique. And here we can change our wrong notions about karma. See, there are 3-4 things to be understood about karma. First of all, karma as a principle, the law of karma. Like one day one man was talking to me, he said, Swamiji, Gita talks about karma and you are not advocating karma. I said, I don't know what is your edition. Maybe it is the New Testament type, New Bhagavad Gita or what? No, Bhagavad Gita talks about karma. I said, I have not come across anywhere. Bhagavad Gita talks about karma yoga. The first is the karma siddhanta. Second is karma yoga. So, and the third thing is what Bhagavan Sri Krishna is describing here. What he says, Bhuta bhavodbhavakaraha visargaha karma sanjitaha. Visarga, giving up. Giving up activity is called as karma. See, very beautiful statement. Getting engaged in activity is karma roga. The readiness to get out of the karma roga is karma yoga. And third thing, when we practice karma yoga, then we get freedom from the karma itself. And getting freedom from the karma is called as karma. See. Bhuta bhavot bhavakaraha visargaha karma uchyate. Now see, bhuta bhava udbhavakaraha. When we see this world with so much of variety, a question comes in the mind. What is that because of which there is such a variety in this creation? Somebody is intelligent, somebody is stupid, somebody is beautiful, somebody is ugly, somebody is able to understand correctly, somebody correctly misunderstands. What is the reason? Where from this variety has come? Then we are told this is because of our karma in the last life. Because to the same couple, if 4 children are born, they will not be the same. They will be different. Even the identical twins are different. Recently I went for a marriage of identical twin. One boy got married. He found out a girl, he got married. He got married to a girl and she has a sister who is also available for marriage. And everybody was hoping that the other twin will get married to this girl. But this boy, he said, I am not interested in marriage at all. I want to lead my own spiritual life. Both of them have the same parents. Both of them are educated in the same field. Both of them are equal age. Maybe a difference of 4-5 minutes. That's it. But the swabhava, the nature is so different. Now the question comes, what is that which has made this difference? Another example. One day, one young boy in his 20s was driving me. And I asked him one question. I said, hey, do you smoke Charminar or Foursquare? He said, Swamiji, why do you ask me this question? I said, because I smoke Foursquare, therefore I wanted to know what is your brand. He said, Swamiji, you can't pull me like that. I never smoke. I said, maybe you are concerned about the health. But what about the drink? Which is your favorite drink? He said, Swamiji, why are you after me? I don't drink at all. There's something wrong with your work. You don't smoke, you don't drink. Something abnormality in you. He said, no. Then he told his story. He said, Swamiji, my father was a terrible drunkard. And I have seen how my mother and we have suffered as children. And from that childhood onwards, I have decided in my life, anything may happen, but these two things I will never do. Smoking and drinking. But my brother has followed the footsteps of my father. He is the same copy like my father. He drinks, he smokes, he creates a mess in the house, his wife is in trouble. See, the same parents, but the two people interacting differently. What is that which makes the difference? This question is answered in our scriptures that it is because of our own earlier lifestyle or the karma that we inherit in this life as the impression from the last life. And friends, life is lived according to the fate or the destiny and not according to the external things. There are people who have got all things available in the world, all luxuries, all comforts, and they are luxuriously, comfortably miserable. And the other extremes, they have nothing in this world. They are just living on the road and they are also miserable. So to be miserable, you don't depend on the external conditioning, that is your own originality. See, Srimad Bhagavad Mahapuran tells, from the nature of a person, we can find out where from this person has come. The one who is all the time cranky, angry, frustrated, दुनिया को बदल डालेंगे, मार देंगे, काट देंगे. This kind of nature he has recently arrived from the hell. And a person who right from the childhood is so generous, so peaceful, so undisturbed, so loving, so sacrificing, so much sharing, ready to undergo difficulties without complaints. When these qualities are evidently manifested in an individual, then he has recently come from the heavens. See? Therefore, karma is the one which determines our journey in this world of relativity. Now, Bhuta Bhava Udbhava Karaha. that by which Bhuta Bhava, the sense of being a limited individual, Bhuta Bhava, this sense of limitation that I am a man, woman, jiva, etc., this Bhuta Bhava Udbhava Kara. How long are we going to live as stones, as plants, as animals, and as human beings? Is there higher life possible? Or we will accrue a lot of merits, go to the heaven, we will do all kinds of good karmas, and go in the Pitru Loka or the Gandharva Loka or Chitrarath in various kinds of lives and enjoy there. And when all our merits are exhausted, again come back to Chinch Pogli. How long? Are we not tired of the same wretched life again and again, again and again? Then a new line of contemplation is inaugurated in the mind of the seeker. And what is that? Bhuta bhava udbhava karaha visargaha. Yoginaha karma kurvanti sangam tyaktva atma shuddhaye. Karma is not done for getting something in this world. Karma is done for the purification of the heart. And when the heart is purified, inquiry about the divinity is naturally kindled. Just like when the sulfur or the fuel is absolutely dry, a little bit of fire is enough to convert into a big conflagration. In the same manner, when the heart is immaculately pure, no expectations of achievement through karma, then that is what is called as Bhuta Bhava Udbhava Karaha Visargaha. So that karma, be very attentive, that karma which does not breed the next karma phala is called as the real karma. See? That karma which creates a karma phala is the bondage born out of karma. This is what I am reading that book of Sri Shama Charanji Lahiri Mahashay. He has interpreted the whole Bhagavad Gita on the basis of the Kriya Yoga that he has followed in his life. And he says that the meaning of karma in Bhagavad Gita is not all that you people talk about. Kartavya karma, nitya karma, naimitya karma. No. He said there is only one karma. And because of that we are alive. And that is called as prana karma. And he says, yoginaha karma kurvanti. They practice this kriya yoga through pranayam for atma shuddhaye, for the purification of the mind. And what is the purification of the mind? Purification of the mind is disidentification of the mind from the body and thereby merging the individual mind in the total mind. That is what is called as the real meaning of karma. See? Bhuta bhavod bhavakaraha visargaha karma uchyate. Therefore, friends, if our lifestyle is such because of which we get entangled in this world, we are suffering from karma roga. If we start leading our life in such a manner that we are active but do not allow the karma phala to be born, the result will be heart will be purified. And when the heart is purified, Bhagavad Gita told us earlier, Jnanagni sarva karmanam, all the karmas are burnt by the fire of knowledge. See? Sarvam karma khilam parthas jnane parisamapyate. In the discovery of one's own essential nature, the limitations and the life of relativity is totally transcended. That is what is called as the real meaning of karma. Now, if this is understood, will we ever bother and boast that I have to do this thing for this thing for that? You may do or don't do anything in this world. If we have not helped ourselves, we are not capable of helping anybody in this world. And what is the help we have to give to ourselves? Only one help. This human birth we have with an option. Discover total freedom or get entangled again in the same rut of relativity. Our Swami Akhandanji Maharaj used to tell a story. There was a blind man who fell in a well, dry well. And in that well there was an outlet. By steps you can come out. You must have seen in villages, old style, there are wells like that. So he cannot see how to come out. So he has a stick in his hand. And with the stick on one side, holding and walking, touching the other hand to the wall. So when the door comes, he can go out. He started walking. And when the door was to come, that very moment, he had a scratching on his head. So one hand busy with the stick. So far, I have never come across a door. Never mind. And he was scratching the head and going with the stick. And during that time, that gate or the door has crossed. Again, 84 kilometers of round. In the same manner, having born in the human being, we are engaged in satisfying the itches of our sense organs. See? And when we are engaged in satisfying the itching of our sense organs, the opportunity to get out of this relativity is lost. And then, punarapi jananam, punarapi maranam, punarapi janani jatare shayanam. Therefore, friends, this knowledge opens our eyes. How long are we going to continue in the same wretched lifestyle? And unfortunately, we imagine, oh, this is only for those people, old people, who are good for nothing and fit for nothing. They are fit for spirituality. This is the knowledge to be lived by those who really want to make their life. Therefore, Swamiji, if we are old, what you have to say? You are too early for the next life. Never mind. There is no wastage. It will be utilized. So, three things we have learned so far. One is Aksharam Brahma Paramam. Second, Svabhavodhyatmam Uchyate. Third, Bhuta Bhavod Bhavakaraha Visargaha Karma Sanjitaha. So, that which will liberate us from the wheel of action, that alone is called as the real meaning of karma. Otherwise, we get entangled in more and more and more activities. One more thought I'll give and then we'll proceed ahead. See, getting involved in newer and more activities strengthens our illusion that the world is real and we can do something good for the world, and because of our goodness that the world is surviving. And this foolishness is glorified as the dana, dharma, and all kind of spiritual activities. See? Better than hoarding is charity. Better than charity is renunciation. Better than renunciation is understanding our own self. It doesn't matter whether we are grastha, married, unmarried. It doesn't matter. What is most important is, have we discovered our essential self? Without that, jara marana, the fear of old age and death, will keep on persecuting us throughout life. And what is the thing which is watering this illusion, which is manuring this illusion? It is this wrong notion about karma, karma, karma. Enough of it. And once we become aware of it, then this karma slowly starts getting away. Then the next question was, Adhibhutam chakim proktam. O Lord, kindly tell us, what is the meaning of Adhibhuta? So the teacher says, Adhibhutam ksharo bhavaha. Ksharo bhavaha. All that is existing as a constantly changing phenomena is called as Adhibhuta. Now see, what is changing? When we move, the other day somebody came to Bombay after many years. And he was telling me, Swamiji, you know that Dadar Titi Goal Circle? There, if you go this way, after 4th lane, that is my house. And when he came, he said, my God, I was myself confused. Is it the same Dadar or different? So much change. So the towns and cities are changing. Then the people are changing. Like, when our NRIs come from the other countries, they say, hey, India is changing a lot. So, all that which is undergoing change is called as Adhibhuta. Now, let us investigate what is changing. We will come to know world is changing around us. The business is becoming very difficult, changing. And then the people around us are changing. In earlier time, the old people used to go to the temples, to the Satsang. Now these days, old people are glued to the TV. The old people are more spoiled by the TV than the younger generation. They don't want to go anywhere. See, people are changing. Then we have started changing. Jab hum jawan the, when I was young, I could eat 25 laddu of Tirupati size. Just like that. Now what happened? Now when I see the picture of the laddu, I get loose motions. What happened? Everything is changing. Our faculties are changing. Our priorities are changing. Our understanding is changing. There was one man who came to US to his daughter. And he came for investigation. Because in India, doctors are not good. So they go to USA to the same Indian doctors and pay through the nose. Then they are good. So he went there and investigation was, I don't remember anything. That was his problem. After spending a lot of money, nothing was found out. So when that daughter told me, I said, call me for food, that much fee is enough. But you have to cook fresh. There is one condition you have to talk in the Western world. What will come before you? Whether it is from Sakti Yuga or Treta Yuga or Dwapar Yuga, God knows. In Satya Yuga we used to eat like this. Ancient people. So, I had my food and then I was talking to that old man. He said, Swamiji, I was a chartered accountant looking after the accounts of L&T. And I had such a beautiful memory that even the balance sheets, which are nothing but figures, I could remember everything. I don't know what happened now. I just don't remember. Something has gone wrong with me. I asked him, what is your age? He said, now I am 80 plus. Very good. When you are 20 plus, that time, what was your capacity to digest? You could digest the stones, isn't it? Yes. Now even the sandwich creates gas problem. When you were young, that time, you could hear even what was never said. Now, somebody comes with a mic and pumps in your ear, yet you cannot hear. Earlier, you could see without the glasses. Now you require a binocular. So all your faculties are dying with the age. Remember, memory is also a faculty. Don't hold on to that. Hey, you told me something new. I said, $500 fees. I said, now don't say I have forgotten. See, everything in this world is changing. There is one thing only which is never changing. And the one who is witnessing, who is illuminating, who is establishing all the changes, he alone is not changing. So, be very attentive. If I get identified with the body, nothing wrong. But then accept that the body has 6 modifications. It is in the mother's womb, it is born, it grows, then it modifies, it has diseases, old age, and one day it dies. These changes are associated with the body. So if you are identified with the body, there is no problem. But problem comes, I want to continue to be young in the old body. And then all the cartoons are born. See? When a 90-year-old lady, 91-year-old lady wants to look like a 19-year girl, only putting the digits here and there, that's it. Then all the problems come. So, recognize this principle. All that is changing is inevitable. And that is called as Adhibhuta. And this Adhibhuta is illumined and supported by that Aksharam Brahma Paramam, which does not undergo any change. Recognize this. See? Once our approach to life changes, then alone real spiritual life is practiced. This is the basic difference between the material science and the spiritual science. When we talk about the scientific approach to life, what is meant is, let us not mistake that scientific living is only spending time only in the external adjustments. The kitchen table should be this much height so that you don't have to bend. The tap should be such that you don't have to put lot of efforts. And the door should be locked and controlled from a distance so that life becomes comfortable. From a remote control, you can change the channels of your TV. So that is not scientific life. The scientific life is, we live through the life without the life becoming a burden for us to live. And this is possible only when this knowledge is not acquired for free distribution, but it is acquired for practice in one's life. So what is the difference therefore between the scientific approach and the spiritual approach? Scientific approach leaves us with the load of knowledge and we are buried under that load of knowledge, we become only erudite and scholar. And spiritual life is releasing us from the load of knowledge because we have converted this knowledge into experience and wisdom. Therefore, bhuta bhavodbhavakaraha visargaha karmauchyate and adhibhutam ksharo bhavaha. So these four things so far we have studied, they should bring our attention to this first statement, Aksharam Brahma Paramam. See the two words, Ksharo Bhavaha and Aksharam Paramam. That which is bound to change is matter. And that which is immune to any change is the spirit. When we start living as matter, there is no redemption. We are bound to suffer and nothing else. But when we start living in the wisdom of being the Aksharam Brahma Paramam, thereafter all the modifications of the matter will have zero influence on the reality that we are. This is how we come across great masters who are uninfluenced by the whole world. Because they are no more living as adhibhuta, as the changing phenomena, but the one which is supporting all the changes. So adhibhutam ksharo bhavaha. And then the next question was Purushascha adhidaivatam. Now here Purusha means, because we have already seen Swabhava Adhyatma Uchyate, Jiva is called as Adhyatma. Now what is the meaning of Purusha? So here Purusha means the basic phenomena where the totality has just started manifesting as individuality. Take for example, if you take a seed, let us take a horse gram seed. When it is dry, you can't even bite, it is so strong. Then we put it in the water. When it starts absorbing water, slowly it starts swelling. And when it starts swelling, then a process of germination is introduced. And when the germination begins, then all that was hidden in that hard seed starts becoming manifested in the form of the roots, the trunk, the branches, the leaves, the flowers and the fruits. If this is clear, in the same manner, this total world of names and forms, of things and beings, remains always in an unmanifest form, and when the process of manifestation begins, like our seed which was kept in the water, it has started swelling. That particular position, according to our Vedanta Shastra, is called as the Hiranya Garbha. When in the Garbha, in the womb, the total world starts getting ready to manifest. Thereby, we all have one common father. We all are born out of that one reality. And this is what is called as Purushascha Adhidaivatam. So this Purusha is the Adhidaiva. And this Adhidaiva, I'll take you further one step. This Adhidaiva expresses through the individual Adhyatma as different faculties. Be very clear in understanding this. For example, if we see our eyes, we have got two aspects in the eyes. One is structural eye Second is the functional I. Structural I is adhibhuta, constantly changing. And because it has changed, we require glasses. And the vision behind the eyes is the adhidaiva. So the supreme reality, from the totality point of view, when it is expressing through all the eyes in all the individuals, it is expressing only as the vision. So, that adhidaiva Purusha, that principle of manifestation of life through the eyes as vision is a common principle. Like the same electricity expresses through all the bulbs only as light. The electricity expresses through all the fans as the magnetic field. There is no change in that. In the same manner, this Purusha, this Hiranyagarbha, expresses through all the eyes in the whole universe as the vision, through all the ears as the hearing ability, through all the tongues as the tasting ability, and so on. And therefore, when we are able to get fully involved in any experience, suppose you are eating, enjoy your every bite 100%. Then you are one with the Lord. But while eating, we are eating and newspaper, पता नहीं है लोग इतने मरते कैसे हैं? इसमें नमक है क्या? I don't know. Are you a buffalo or what? I don't know. Because we have never trained ourselves. Get yourself fully involved in whatever you do. That is called as meditation. That time you are one with the reality. So this is how Purushascha Adhidaivatam. And then Adhiyagya, etc. That thought we'll take in our tomorrow's class. Om Purnamadaha Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om. Sri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.